Hi, Siobhan. Welcome to the
Hi, how are
podcast.
you? Hi,
I'm
how's it
good. How are
going?
you? Good.
Good.
I have to say, we have to tell the story of when we actually met in person at the checkout of Walmart. I met
Yeah.
Siobhan. I looked over, and Moose Jaw is a small place. I looked over and went, "Are you Once Upon a Bungalow?"
Usually
and she,
people don't know my name. That's what they say. Are you once upon a bungalow?
so that's how we met at the checkout of Walmart here in Moose Jaw, and I'm happy to have you as the second guest on my rebooted podcast, Siobhan. So thanks for joining me.
Really? Oh, that's awesome. Well, actually, I said to my husband, like at the beginning of 2024, I was like, I think I want to be on a podcast this year. Like, I'm going to just put that out there in the universe. And then, like, days later, you said, do you want to come on the podcast? I was like,
That's
that's pretty
fantastic.
cool.
I've been following you for a while, Siobhan. How did you get started with Once Upon a Bungalow?
I always tell really long stories, but I'm going to try and be like short with my answer.
You
But
got all the time you
um,
want.
it was kind of like when I have two little boys, Marshall and Ted, and they I was just on my end of my mat leave with Ted, and I did hair before I did any of this. And I was kind of coming to the end of mat leave, and Stuart's sister had passed away, and she was the same age as me. And it kind of makes you like recalculate what you're gonna do with your life, how you're gonna live it. And I just said to Stuart, I don't think I'm gonna go back to hair. I think I want to do something else. And he said, well, what are you gonna do? And within like that hour, we kind of decided, well, I could go online university and take interior design. So that's what I did. And I started online courses. And after having babies too, you go through like different postpartum things and everything. And I found that university really kind of pulled me out of any kind of it really helped my mental health is what happened. And the social media stuff happened completely on accident. They kind of encourage you with like university to start, social media so that when you're finished school, maybe an architect, that's like you want to apply to an architecture firm or something like that. It's going to be like your resume is your social media. So I just started uploading different projects that I would do in school, but I would mix it in with a little bit of home renovations. And what happened is people kind of fell in love with Stuart and I's dynamic, and we started to hear like a good response about like just our home projects, and people thought it was funny and like relatable. And so we kind of started doing more of that, and it kind of just happened organically, which is really cool. Like I never set out to be a content creator or anything like that. It just happened.
So where did you start on social media? What was your first platform that kind of took off for you?
Instagram was where I started, and I think I put out a Facebook page too. And just recently, I've been trying like to tiptoe in YouTube. I don't know. Do you do YouTube as well?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a pro in YouTube. It's
It's a whole nother
like a
ball game.
fraction. Yeah. It's a whole
Yeah.
different thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, probably Instagram was like the main one, and then a little bit into TikTok. And I find they all, like all the different platforms, kind of want different things. I don't know if you find that as well. A little bit different curated content on each platform, but Instagram's probably my favorite just because you really get to know your audience on there, I find.
Yeah, I found TikTok went through a big change recently, and I couldn't figure out why my videos were suddenly, ones that were getting hundred thousands of views were suddenly get like 10,000 views and then drop off. And that's when I discovered for some reason they changed it. Actually, Leroy Jr., my son, said to me, Dad, they want 1 minute videos now. And I'm like, sure they do. So I tried a
Oh,
1 minute video and it
they want
changed
longer.
everything. Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that yet. So
See,
they want
this is
length.
do a test on it. Throw a video of a minute or longer now on TikTok will do better than the short
Is that
ones that used to go viral.
Yeah, and see that's like kind of like you get the odd complaint like people say it's with what I do, it's like home renovations. It was too fast. I need you to slow it down. But like your quick videos are what really gets people's attention and kind of goes viral because people don't have long attention spans, I find. So you really got to like catch their eye right away and get them kind of hooked right away.
I love all the videos you share because they're from your own home and all like the renovations you've done. My wife and I were just watching one the other day, and she's like, "Can we just get her to come over to our house and tell us what we need to do here?" Because they're so good, and it's amazing your before and after pictures. So, like, what was your first project in your house that you did?
Oh, I mean, like we've been ripping it apart and putting it back together since we moved in 2011. Like we just, I mean, I love it and Stuart just deals with it. But I started doing projects myself because um I would plan out what I wanted and then Stuart would have to come home from his day job and make it happen. And then I kind of got just sick of waiting for him to come and I'm like, you know what? I think I could do this myself. And so I started getting Stuart to show me how to use the different tools and stuff, or if we didn't know anything we would just YouTube it. That's how we learn everything. And so the first thing I did on my own was just like a little bit of detailing on our sides of our kitchen island. And then I just got such a high from that because I was like, wow, I thought to do it and I made it happen. And then it just kind of progressed like that and stuff. But I always get people asking me to come to their house. And I always am like, thank you. No, thank you.
You can have a whole side business just off of that, Siobhan, just off of going and giving recommendations to people. You don't even have to do the work. You just tell them what to do.
I find it so personal. It's like, I just like, I really believe that you should just like you you should have whatever you like in your house and it shouldn't be what you think should. I know some people really don't have any idea, but like, I have a closet in my house that's like dedicated to the TV show Friends and like just like random stuff because it makes me happy and I always feel so uncomfortable telling people what to put in theirs because it should just be what you like.
Fair enough. Well, some of us don't have the inspiration that you have, Siobhan. That's what it
Well, it
comes
looks
down
like
to.
you do. Look behind you.
All kinds of random signs. This one up here is my favorite. That one right there, the 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. no parking Tuesdays and
How
Thursdays.
did you
That
end
was
up
our
with that?
okay. That was our first video that kind of went big for us on TikTok. And it was outside of Crescent Park here in Moose Jaw, and I don't know why these signs were up. But one of our city councilors, Heather Eby, saw the video and just loved it. And that night they had a city planning meeting that she was at. And she said, "Hey, have you guys seen this video?" They all watched it. And then she said, "Why are those no parking signs up?" No one at City Hall knew. So a week later, they took them all down. And I got a call from Heather saying, "I have something for you if you can stop by my house." And I popped by and she had that no parking sign for me. So that's the
How
story
many
behind that one.
were there?
What's that?
How many were there?
They were all around Crescent Park. Like, I don't know why. And no one knew. No one knew why those no. And there's still some down there, actually.
That's
They
so
missed
awesome.
taking down a few.
Well, they have to
But yeah,
preserve the history of our beautiful city. That's a part
that's
of it.
right.
That's so
I love it.
funny.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. And then
first
I got
one
a
I
couple of
ever
custom
fully
signs.
loved of you was the Men at Work, the Men at Work
Oh,
one, where women
that
don't.
is that is my all-time favorite, actually, Siobhan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the women don't need working signs because they're always working and don't feel the need to point it out when they are. That one.
Yes, yes. Have they
Yeah,
changed those now? Have they changed those or are they still the same?
I don't know. I bet you they're those are ones are hard to come by because we've looked again. Like, I've tried to find that sign again and have not been able to find the same one. So, yeah, I think they've gone to just like people working, or I don't know. They changed the signs up for sure. On the note
Because
of
of
that
you.
video, yeah. On the note of that video, I got a lot of people who loved that video. Had some, chauvinistic guys who were real mad about it and sent me messages. And you just released a video recently, kind of dealing with the haters, and I love the way you did it. Can you tell us about that video?
Oh, I've done two like this now, and I don't want to make it like a habit of doing it all the time, but I do when I get like a really nasty comment, I'll screenshot it and I keep it because I'm like, everything is content and how can I make this benefit? You know what I mean? Like I think about it in that perspective, but what I did is I posted a video of all of the negative comments that I've got in the last 6 months and just said like your words are, how did I say it? I just think people don't realize their words have power, whether they're negative or positive. And I think every once in a while, it's important just to remind people, like, we are human, and this is hurtful to write. And I think when people see that, they're going to be like more mindful of what they are writing online because they are hiding behind a phone. They don't think that they think they can get away with it more. And I do often get the comment, if you're going to put yourself out there, then you have to expect negativity and you have to expect mean comments. And I disagree because I always say, if that's like saying, oh, if you walk down the street, you have to be okay with being punched in the face. I think like, like it's not true. Like you should never be treated like that. It's just so I have, my bad days where it'll get to me a little bit more than it does. And then I have good days where I kind of just laugh it off. How do you deal with or do you not get any?
No, I absolutely do. And I thought it was really interesting, your video, because I actually have a folder on my phone called arseholes, which I save all of those photos into as well. And I've thought I'm going to use them at some point in some kind of a video. So I thought it was really interesting when yours came. I feel like I am pretty good at brushing it off. For the most part, if someone's got something to say, I usually just screenshot it and then I just ban them from my page and I don't ever have to hear from them again. But yeah, at the end of the day, I totally agree with you that I don't understand why people feel the need to do that, but they always will because they can be anonymous and you don't know who they are when they're making the comments. But I've had a ton of them as well. It's and I
always had that debate with, yeah, and I always do have that issue with like, do I cross their names out or do I expose them? But then I feel like I'm a part of the problem if I'm going to just put their name out there. And I don't want to be like fight bullying with more bullying. That's not the point of it. It's just like, stop treating people like this, right? Kind of a video. But yeah, I always get nervous to post those, but they always have a positive reaction. And I think a lot of people might see it and be like, ooh, I have done that before. Maybe I shouldn't, kind of think about things that they put out there.
I love the way that you tackled it. I think that was fantastic. So job well done on that. And I've been enjoying following your videos for quite a while now. I think it wasn't until I was following for a while that I realized, hey, wait a minute, she's from Moose Jaw too. It's a small community.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's quite a few Saskatchewan creators though, and like we've got quite a bit of pretty awesome creators here. Well, you had Ryan on here, and yeah.
That's I want to start off with featuring some Saskatchewan creators. I thought that would be awesome to be able to highlight some of the people here in our province, and then we'll go beyond from there. But that's why I was so excited that you were able to come on. When you are doing all this work at your place, do you have a favorite project that you've done so far? Like one that stands out that you're like, oh my goodness, that was my favorite one I did.
Well, there's always like the ones that get like you said, that sign always does well for you with content. It performs the men working sign. That was like your golden ticket. So we have a privacy fence in our backyard. Every time I post that, it does really well. So like that's a great one that I love it. The Murphy bedroom, which I'm in right now, people really love the Murphy bedroom. But then also we do some really random projects. We built a hobbit hole in our backyard just because we love Lord of the Rings, and we had to redo our shed that was just rotting and falling down. And I was like, you know what I've always wanted is a hobbit hole. So like that's another part of social media I find is like a really positive place, because a lot of people they see that kind of stuff and maybe they're not interested in Lord of the Rings, but they think I don't have to make my house how other people should like it. I get to make it how I want it. So, I had a girl message me and say, I made my whole bathroom Schitt's Creek themed. And I'm like, good for you. Like, and I love that kind of inspiration in the world. But the Hobbit Hole, I absolutely love that project. We just did a secret passageway in our kids' room. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yes, I love that one with the Mario tube on the one side, yeah, and the
Yes,
Nerf
yes.
guns on the other side. Yes.
Yes, yes. Yes, the kids love that. So, and it's so good for the kids to see like this kind of stuff and like, it makes them like excited to create too. So I love that part of it. Just like your son, Leroy Jr.
Yeah, yeah, it's been fun to get to have him in some of the videos. The one he did with the turn right at the Moose. There's a Tim Hortons sign coming into Moose Jaw, billboard that says "Turn right at the Moose, 5 minutes ahead" for Tim Hortons. He
Yes.
did that video and it went viral, and I'm like, that video just went more viral than most of the videos I've done in the last while.
And did he love
So
that?
he was super excited about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
super
lot of fun.
proud. Yeah, and I bet you he's super proud to be a part of it and like seeing you do what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's enjoyed, and I've enjoyed being able to have him come along, and he's filmed some of my videos. You'll always know which ones he's holding the camera on because he makes sure I say it's Leroy Jr. behind the camera at the end of the at the end of the
Aw.
video. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to tour around with him and my wife and get to film a bunch of this stuff. Where does your inspiration come from for your projects, Siobhan? I'm so curious about this.
Oh, I mean, it depends which one. I no, I feel like the Hobbit hole. Like, I just always loved the Lord of the Rings, and I like dressed up like a hobbit for the dances in high school, and clearly I had just lots of boyfriends. Just getting dressed as a hobbit, but
I love it.
I just. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just really focus on what makes me happy. And then another big one is, and this is probably, I think a lot of people relate to. Your cat is like
My cat.
going
Yeah, she was
crazy.
about to step on the keyboard. I'm like, no, 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 let's not end the interview early.
Oh, but what was I saying now? I don't even remember. The cat distracted me.
We're talking about your inspiration, and then you were talking about
Yeah.
dressing up like a hobbit, and you're about to go into something else.
Oh my God. I'm gonna listen back to this and be like, oh my Lord, Siobhan, why do you always have to talk about what Hogwarts house you're sorted into or something stupid? Anyway, I just think that a lot of people are looking for how to make the house that they have work. I think in our like, well, I think it definitely my generation, it's always been like, we need a bigger house or we need to move into a bigger space. And I remember thinking that too when we first bought this house. I was like, oh, this is our starter home. Like, we'll get something bigger and better. But then I started kind of flipping the way my mind focused on that. And I was like, what if we just chose to love this house and make it work for our family? And so everything is very like multifunctional in our house, which is why this is an office and a guest room. And it's also our laundry room. And like we're trying to kind of think of ways to make this house work and appreciate this one for what it is. And it's no saying that we won't eventually one day move to something different. I'll probably run out of projects eventually, but I think the main inspiration, yeah, is just like really trying to work with what you got, and do you guys have a big house?
No, actually, we just moved. We actually just moved into our new house, but our old house was like 600 square feet. We very much outgrew
Oh,
that one. So
yeah,
we moved
yeah,
into
that's tiny.
a little bit bigger of a house, but it's only a 3-bedroom house. And we love it. We didn't want something huge either. We just, again, like kind of like you said, we just wanted something that worked for our family and gave us a little more space. And we got this one because we're like, there's a lot of potential in this house. There's, it didn't have to
Hmm.
check every box, but it's like we can do things as we go along. So I love that the way that you tackle all those projects, and it's been an inspiration to watch them. Like looking at your backyard. I have like a blank slate of a backyard right now, Siobhan. I've
Oh,
got
yeah.
it's 50% weeds back there. And I'm
That's
like,
what ours was too. Yeah.
well, and I see the way your backyard looks in those videos. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what I want. Like, I love your privacy fence that you have and the way that you've laid everything out. So I think it's cool that you're kind of inspiring other people's projects now through your own.
I love that. I love when people say, like, I built this because I saw that you built this or something like that. But, and I always try and be as real as possible. Be like, okay, well, we moved in 2011 and it didn't look like this until 2022, like it took us a really long time to get like the trees to mature. And we've never had like a master plan of how we wanted the backyard to look. We get that question quite a bit did you have this like grand plan? Well, no, we were like, oh, we can afford to buy one tree this paycheck. Like, let's put the tree there, kind of thing. And we just worked away at it, which is another thing I think that resonates with people is like hearing that it doesn't take, it's not the snap of the fingers and it's happened, that it takes years to make your house, how you want it. I mean, some people can afford to completely overhaul their house. But I think the majority of people, just need to chip away at it and realize that's okay.
I love that. One project at a time and take it from there. So obviously you've grown fairly large on social media. Has that brought any kind of opportunities for you that you didn't know you'd get to have otherwise?
100%. I am on Leroy and Leroy's podcast. I said that to Stuart before I like came down here to do this. I was like, how do I get myself into these things? It's crazy. I just noticed your sweater is a Barbie Leroy sweater. Oh, you're enough. I love it.
Yeah, I made this before I actually saw the movie. I made it when the movie came out. I was like, I need a Leroy Barbie sweater. And then I wore it to a Comic-Con thing that I got invited to out in New Brunswick. So, and then I released them for a very short time. I did not sell a lot of them, but I love the design.
I want one if you have any left over.
I will send you the link for this one.
Okay. What were we saying? Oh, crazy, like things that have come up. Another one that was just like absolutely wild to me was the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. They contact, and like I was a huge Rider fan growing up, as we all are living in Saskatchewan, and they DM'd me, and I swore it was like fake, like I thought there's no way, and I phoned my dad, and I remember my grandparents were over at my dad's house, and I swear to God, there is nothing that my parents would be prouder of than like a collaboration with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. So that was really cool. We worked with the riders, and then through the riders, we met a few people from the CFL and ended up doing a few things for the CFL in the Grey Cup this year, which again seems so crazy. Like a lot of the things I didn't really even think to dream have kind of fallen our way, and it just seems so surreal. And I'm sure you feel that way too.
Yeah, there was a moment I could pinpoint one of the moments for me, and my wife and I were in the mall at the one of the like the Bell kiosk getting new phones, and while her phone was getting done, I was scrolling on mine, and I hit on Instagram, and one of the guys from Letterkenny, Dylan Playfair. Do you watch Letterkenny?
Well, I know of it. My husband watches it. Yes.
Well, Dylan Playfair is one of like the hockey bros in it. He's the guy with like the blonde shaggy hair. He had shared like 5 or 6 of our videos on Instagram and videoed himself laughing and was like, you guys got to check this out. These guys are so funny. I'm crying. So I've saved that video. It is on my Instagram highlights for Leroy and Leroy.
That's amazing.
But that was one of those moments that just stood out to me. I was like, oh my goodness. My wife's talking to the guy at the kiosk and I'm like pulling on her sleeve. I'm like, look.
Did she know? Did she know who it was?
She kind of did, but realized pretty quickly that it was a pretty big deal. It was pretty cool, but those are the moments. And last May, we got to interview Red Green. Steve Smith came on.
That's amazing.
The podcast, and unfortunately, the audio did not record properly. But we streamed it live. It is on YouTube, and we got to chat with Red Green for half an hour. And growing up watching him duct tape everything together was the thing that I forever will remember watching with my dad. So those are a couple of my
Did you guys contact him, or did he find how did that work out?
Yeah, we reached out. We're like shot in the dark. Let's see if we can get Steve Smith on the podcast, and somehow it all came together, and actually we actually got him, and it was incredible. We were actually having trouble connecting with him. We had this audio wasn't working, and we said, we can do this another time if you want, because called him on the phone, and he said, no, I've been looking forward to this all week. He said, I was at a funeral today, and I just want to chat and have some laughs. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like this guy's a Canadian legend.
Everything. That means everything.
Right. And so that's the amazing part, is getting to meet, somebody and then find out that, yes, he really is a good person.
Oh yeah, isn't that so nice when you meet someone and you're like, oh my God, they're just as I expected. Yeah. No, and half the business of content creating and all those different things is just taking shots in the dark and like reaching out and being like, hey, like, I'm Siobhan, and get to know these people and see if they do want to work with you and all those things. And I've been trying to get HGTV to pay attention to us. But that seems like a big stretch for.
I'm going to start tagging them in every one of your posts.
You never know.
We'll tag them in this podcast with this clip and say, HGTV, pay attention to Siobhan at Once Upon a Bungalow. I would tune into that show every single week, Siobhan.
Oh, I know. I'm like, hey, where's my show here, you guys? I'm waiting. No, I'm just kidding. But that's one of like kind of my major goals and stuff. You know how you kind of like set that some sort of connection with that would be amazing. And but yeah, we've had lots of really wild ones, and like it's crazy too to think, like, I think the first one we got was with a jewelry company, just like a really small piece of jewelry got sent to us. And I remember just being so grateful, and like, I couldn't believe it that someone would, and I still feel that way. I still feel like super grateful for every opportunity that's come. And it's really hard to almost wrap your head around, because it's things that are so wild, like you said.
Yeah, I'm sure one of the ones I saw you do too was a collab. Did you do with like a tool brand?
Oh, we partner with Greenworks quite a bit, Greenworks Tools, and they are super awesome, because basically they're the ones who sponsored the Hobbit Hole, and basically they have kind of given us total creative freedom, which is amazing, because a lot of companies, they'll have certain campaigns they want you to follow. Certain guidelines of how they want the content to look or something. You still have creative freedoms, but Greenworks, they're amazing. They're just like, what's next? What's next? What are you up to next? And I keep thinking of all these really weird ideas, and they just keep saying, okay. So they also sponsored the boys' closets, which was crazy. Just crazy.
That's fantastic. And it's cool that those opportunities get to come, from something that started as a passion project for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, it really zero intentions on becoming a creator of any kind. And, but it kind of fell into it really organically, which I think is the appeal to it. I think people sense that it truly is fun, and I do love being there. And it has its hard times. I'm sure that you know this too, where you have to show up if you aren't feeling like it. You got to show up, and you got to be on. And I'm assuming you particularly, like, running into you at like Walmart or different, but you wear a wig, so you kind of have a disguise.
Oh, you just let the cat out of the bag, Siobhan. I've never admitted that. Siobhan just outed me on my own podcast. Yeah, no, it's 100% true. But that for me is one of the things that works for me, because I can take the wig off and not be quite as noticed. That was one of the things I talked to Doka Ryan about last week, was he gets spotted all the time. Have you run into that where people are calling you out in public when you're out places, maybe in your yellow bug? Which is also featured in a lot of your videos.
Oh, good Lord. I said, again, I'm a person that gets road rage. So I'm like, I can never have road rage ever again. I said to her, why did I do this to myself? It is so obvious, the car. And I went and put like daisy rims on it. And like, it's just, I'm like, everyone, all right. So, but yeah, we have been noticed a few times. I don't leave the house very often, to be honest. Like, when you work from home, But we were going into Home Sense one day, and there was a lady that came out of Home Sense as me and Stuart were going in. And a lot of people do notice Stuart probably before they notice me, which is hilarious. And she full on screamed, and it was so funny. We were like, what is going on? And she just screamed and she was just like, oh my God, I love you guys so much. And that was the first time that ever happened. And I just gave her a hug and she was like kind of getting teary. And I just patted her back and like, and I regret saying it. I'm like, oh no, you be quiet. That's enough. Like I was just trying to I was like, it's just me. Oh my God. But then, of course, I'm like, oh, why did I say this, Siobhan? But you never know if you're going to react in that kind of a situation. But she was a sweetheart and she still chats with me online. And so that was a really cool one. And then we recently drove to Medicine Hat for a concert. We were going to see a young artist named Cameron Whitcomb. And he was on American Idol. He's like the Canadian American Idol guy. And I was like, I love him. Let's go to see him in Medicine Hat at this little pub. And there was this girl there, and she was partying. She was having a time. She was definitely like partying the most out of anybody who's partying there. She had a lot of alcohol. Anyway, she came up to us and she was quite excited to see us too, and it was pretty funny.
It's always interesting in when it comes to dealing with people who are a little fueled by alcohol.
It's pretty funny.
All of their inhibitions have gone out the window. Yeah.
Yeah, she was
I know.
I'm not even going to say what she said. Never mind. Tell you later. I'll text you.
Good. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear this story. So I'm curious. You said you're hoping the HGTV people find you. What's your vision? Like, what would your TV show be? What would Once Upon a Bungalow on HGTV feature?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't even thought that far in advance.
So you need the pitch ready to go, Siobhan.
I do need the pitch ready now that you say that, like, I think there needs to be a show for like people with like normal people houses. So like, like I feel like a lot of those shows are showing like multi-million-dollar mansions. And so maybe like bungalows, something to do with bungalow renovation, smaller homes.
Listen, I have your first project house right here. I'm living in it. So when you get your show, you can come on over here, do whatever you want. Well, my wife will sign off on it already, so I can guarantee that.
Does she want a secret passageway?
I don't know, where would we be? Yeah, she's got her own little like get ready room. Her third bedroom is her like.
Oh, really? That's
has turned into her walk-in closet. So she would probably love for that room to be redone.
Good for her. Yes. Who doesn't need a get ready room?
I know, right? Yeah. Who needs the third bedroom? That was, I said, I'll have the basement. You can have the third bedroom to do whatever you want with it. So
that's awesome. You get the whole basement?
Well, not the whole base. Well, okay. I got to hang hockey jerseys around our whole basement. I think.
You get creative control. Jerseys. Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
And then half of it's covered in my son's stuff, hockey stuff. So really, like, I think he has the basement. I just got to hang stuff up on the wall.
Yes, for sure. That's awesome.
So what's next for you? What do you hope is coming your way next?
What is it? Well, we had a few projects coming up. We're redoing our basement, speaking of basements. So we're going to take out a few walls, stuff like that. So projects, of course, are coming up. Stuart and I, there was like an ad that popped up for like amazing rates. It's like apply to amazing. Have you seen that ad? And I was like, I sent it to my friend. Do you know Andrew, the Saskatchewander?
Okay, yeah, I know who that is. Yeah.
Okay, I sent it to him and I'm like, you're made for this. You should apply. And he's like, you and Stuart should apply. And I was like, yeah, right. Could you imagine? Like the whole time would be like me yelling at Stuart to wait for me. And I'm like, then I kind of got to thinking about it and I thought to myself, you know what? Like that would be a blast. So we actually did apply and I'm waiting to hear, but who knows? I don't know. Would you do it? Would you do something like that?
When I do Amazing, I don't know. I feel like this is what would happen to me on Amazing Races. I would get to the point of something having to eat something gross or having to do something with heights, and I'd just be like, "Yeah, no, I'm good."
Yeah, yeah. I'm out. Bye. Yeah, I know. I thought about that too. I'm like, what would I do? Like jump off a building or something like that? But I don't know. I think, yeah. So I'm manifesting all these different kind of things, stuff like that. Just like totally crazy things I kind of hope happen.
I love it. So your application is in for Amazing Race then?
Yeah, we haven't heard anything though, and so we might have to apply again next year. But we didn't work very hard on our application video. I think we should put a little more effort into it next year because we kind of just threw it together right before the deadline. And but yeah, it's quite the application process and pretty intense. Like it wasn't a quick thing to do. I don't know if you've seen what you have. It's quite the thing.
No, I have not. I did go through the process for Family Feud Canada,
Cool.
which is a whole process on its own, and they did not take us.
Really?
Someone from Family Feud Canada actually reached out, and they were like, "Hey, we love your videos. You should apply for the show." So we're like, "Well, let's apply for the show." So we applied, and then the next step is they do. If you get through that first stage, the next step is they do an audition. Which for the audition, they literally video you with everybody in your group and will ask like some Family Feud questions and ask for different stories about everyone so that they would be prepped and ready for the show. So we did it at the time, right behind the camera, and I kind of combined families and we did it. And then they wanted us to reapply as two separate families. And we were just like, we're not going through that whole process again.
Oh, that sounds like a huge deal. But that would be so fun to actually get on it.
I would just love to meet Jerry D as well.
Yeah, like what a time it would be. And just to like experience what it would be like. Like it'd be so crazy.
Yeah,
So maybe
I think it would be fun.
Of reality TV. That would be cool. That's next for me.
There you go. I hope I can feel it coming your way, Siobhan. I have a feeling you're going to wind up on the Amazing Race. I just I'm putting that out there for
again.
You right
let's tag them. Let's HGTV and Amazing Race. I don't know.
If you get HGTV and Amazing Race deals out of this, I do expect some advice on my house after that.
Okay, I guess so. For you.
I appreciate you taking time to chat with me, Siobhan. This has been a ton of fun. People can check you out at Once Upon a Bungalow. That's on TikTok, Instagram? What's your YouTube? Is it just Once Upon a Bungalow?
Yeah, and Facebook. Facebook's really kind of taken off right now. So Facebook's a good one too because people are always asking for those longer video formats, and those are on there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. Check her out on all your social medias, Siobhan, at Once Upon a Bungalow. You'll get a ton of inspiration for your home projects, I promise. And I still think we need to come up with some kind of a collab at some point, Siobhan.
Yes, let's do it. I don't know what we do, but sure.
There's always something to do.
My God, you got to say your catchphrase and everything.
Right? I know. So thanks for joining me. I'm Leroy. That's Siobhan. There's always something to do.